Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Introduction to Uplifter webinar. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We are very excited to have you here and talk a little bit about what Uplifter is and what it can do. My name is Garrett Trott. I'm part of the support team here at Uplifter, and joining me and your presenter today is the one and only Jackie Kwan.
Hello. Thanks for the intro, Garrett.
You're very welcome.
And just to mention, Garrett, I call you our product expert because you know so much about our software. And whenever anybody calls or emails and asks us questions about our software, you're able to answer them wonderfully. So without further ado, Garrett's actually going to be available as well on our chat. So thank you for joining us. So if you do have questions as we're going through this introduction, we're going to be zipping through a lot of the different features within Uplifter very quickly. And if you do have questions, if there's something that he can answer very quickly, he will do so over our Facebook chat. If not, we're going to keep the questions aside and we will answer them by email to you from our support channel after our webinar. So thank you very much for joining us. As mentioned, today we're going to go through a quick introduction or overview of Uplifter. So if you're currently on Uplifter, using Uplifter, you'll likely know about a lot of the different features that we're showing off today. This is really just an overview for any of those clubs who aren't on Uplifter. But if you are a club that's on Uplifter and you are just sort of getting started and not knowing, what Uplifter can do as an administrator, maybe you've just newly come onto the board, this is a great sort of intro to dive into the different administrative features of Uplifter. But I do encourage any of you new or seasoned users of Uplifter to join us again tomorrow for our live stream at the exact same time, where we're going to go through a few more of the tips and tricks of our administrative side for those who are using Uplifter. So very quickly, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of us, but what is Uplifter? We're a cloud-based athlete, coach, and club management system. One of the reasons why we want to do this live stream is, given where we're at with COVID-19 and the social distancing that's required to return to play for many of our sections across Canada, finding ways to limit that connection, limit that connection with your members while maintaining interactivity with them and engagement with them is very important, and Uplifter is a great tool to help you do that. So one of the main things that Uplifter will help your club do is provide online registration for your members. But on top of that, we have a whole ton of tools that will help you and your skating club work with your members overall. So without further ado, I'm going to walk through a few of the features that we have in Uplifter. So Uplifter can be used to power your website. So this is a demo site that we have called our Townsville Skating Club. And in this case, we're actually using Uplifter to power our website. So you can have all of your content on the website. You can have media, YouTube videos linked here, pictures, information about your programs. And you can build out all of these pages as you need. So whether or not you have information about each of the different programs you've got, or perhaps you want to embed a registration calendar to show the different programs that you actually have available for registration, what your class program is like. From these calendars that you can embed either within your Uplifter site or within if you want to have a separate website and just use Uplifter strictly for registration, you can certainly embed a calendar like this so that you can actually have online registration from your website that will direct them over to your Uplifter site. So other things you can see here is within this system here, and actually before I get too much further, Uplifter actually has a number of different tiers that are available. The tier that I'm showing you right now is what's called our Uplifter Gold tier. So this is basically all the different features that we do have available within Uplifter for club management. I'll be showcasing today. But if you are looking for maybe a tier that has a few less features to try and save a few dollars, we do have other tiers, and I'll be going through some of the different features that might be available or unavailable to those features later on. But with this version, we are using Uplifter Gold, and with Uplifter Gold, you can actually build custom registration pages. So for if you want to actually build separate registration flows or filtered lists of the classes that you have available based on the different programs that you offer, you can certainly build those out. So for example, this is a Canscape registration page that I've set up here. Here, even without having been logged in, anybody can come and browse to your site. Not only could they see the class, the class schedule from the calendar view, but here they can glean a lot of information just from the programs that you have available by looking at this page. They can see if particular programs are already full, they're waiting on a wait list, and these wait lists are actually generated in real time. So as people register on your site, your buttons will automatically convert to a wait list, and Uplifter in the background will manage your class lists in real time to make sure that you never run over capacity, which is very important, especially these days, given the restrictions that might be required in your various jurisdictions for social distancing. So here you can see that these classes are full, but then we also have other elements that will show you if a class is actually just starting to fill up. So this class, if there are 5 or fewer spots, this class only has 3 left, indicates to the users that, oh, there's only 3 spots left, better get on board and register pretty quickly. So if they aren't logged in, what they can very easily do is click register on any of these programs. And if they haven't registered before, they can click on the first time registering link and easily fill out information to start their account. I'm actually going to go ahead and sign in with one of our existing users. And when we actually create an account for the very first time, what we also do is we actually collect information about their messaging preferences to see whether or not an individual does want to receive email from your club. It's all CASL compliant so that you know that when you're actually emailing your members out of the Uplifter system that you are complying to Canadian anti-spam laws. So that's very important to note. Here we are on our registration page. With Uplifter, you can actually set up registration restrictions as you require. So here, I'm going to click register for my Canscape program. And I'm going to try and register Patrick Towns. Now, I believe he's probably too old for this program. Yes. So in this case, I've actually set up a restriction that prevents Patrick from registering because he's actually too old for this program. So you can set up as many registration restrictions as you would like within Uplifter, and Uplifter will manage a lot of that for you and make sure that members can register as required based on the restrictions that you've set up. They could be age restrictions, gender restrictions, restrictions based on other programs that they've registered before, or perhaps maybe an achievement, like let's say you want to make sure that only skaters that have reached star 5 and finished their star 5 tests can register for particular programs. So you can set that up in a number of ways within Uplifter to manage all of that for yourself. I'm going to register here. I've got this one Canscape program here. I believe this one doesn't have any restrictions. This one has just what's called warning restrictions. So it recommends that Suzanne has these various elements before she actually proceeds with registration, but doesn't prevent it from happening. So I'm going to go ahead and register for those as well. You'll note here that I've got this little special icon. We very recently launched our drop-in feature. We did this actually while we were in quarantine with COVID, and we're really excited about having our clubs start using our drop-in feature. Now, I know as clubs, you might not be as interested in having just anybody drop into your club, given you want to maintain those social bubbles, but drop-in could actually be used for a number of different other elements. Like, for example, let's say you've got a very tight-knit competitive group, and you want to make sure that that competitive group always sort of trains together. But because ice time is really hard to gather right now, maybe you've got ice time, but you know that between those 10 kids that you've got running your competitive team, you want them to be able to sort of pick and choose which days they're coming to sort of maximize and fill up those spots. You can very easily convert any of our programs here into a drop-in program, either have people registered for the full program or just register for single days. So for example, this one, I've created a Thursday webinar, which is actually one of our online Zoom classes, and I've created it as a drop-in class so that any of the members can actually drop in on a single day and say, oh, I'm gonna just come in for July 2nd, and I'm just gonna register share for the July 2nd drop-in. So here you can see that I've actually gone through a registration. I'm going to go to my shopping cart, and I've actually registered more than one child. So Uplifter actually allows you to allow families to register multiple children on the same invoice, and Uplifter will automatically calculate the invoice based on who is registered and for what. So in this case, we know that both Suzanne and Cher both need their Skate Canada membership for the 2019-2020 season. And as well, you can also set up various fees and subscriptions that might apply either to the individual, like the Skate Canada membership has, or for example, to the entire family. So let's say you just have an admin fee or a fundraising fee that you only want to charge once per family. Uplifter can automatically make those calculations for you. If a family comes back on a subsequent invoice and they've already purchased this fee, they won't be recharged again on subsequent registrations. So Uplifter does all of that for you in the background. As well, Uplifter also manages credit. So if you set up credit on account, whether it be maybe your member registered for a program and you actually had to refund them, as did so many of our clubs have to do over the spring with the closures of COVID, they might have some amounts on their account. They can certainly use those amounts. You can also set up Uplifter to manage installment payments so that you don't have to make them pay all at once, but set them up so that they can actually pay in various installments. And the installments are actually calculated per class. So if this class has a monthly installment, but this class doesn't have any installments, Uplifter will automatically do all that calculation for you and make sure that those payment installments are set up for you as required. From here, you can pop over to your billing information. Uplifter also allows you to set up as many policies as you'd like. So policies are a great way to handle things like media or photography policies. You can make the policies be required or not required. This is a great place to do things like set up a COVID-19 risk acceptance policy, perhaps a concussion policy. All of those places could be set up within our policies. We're actually going to be releasing a bunch of new features with our policies before the end of the month, and I'll walk you through some of those key features at the end here. But we actually have a few things that will help your club manage a lot of the different requirements that might be needed for COVID or for Rowan's Law if you're in Ontario. So from here, we're going to dive into our payment information. Uplifter allows you to select various different payment methods. Depending on the tier that you're on, you might only have the pay by credit card, which is likely the way that you will probably want to collect payments if you want to try and limit that social distancing so that you're not having to transfer checks back and forth and to limit that contact. So online payments are a great way to go. If you're on our Uplifter Gold tier, you can also apply to use Interact Online, which is another popular payment option for our clubs to limit those contact points with your members and to maintain social distancing. In this case, I'm going to click Confirm and Pay in Person. So what will happen is a copy of the invoice will appear on the screen. The members will be emailed the exact copy of this invoice. If you actually want to set up any of your administrators to also receive that same copy, you certainly can. Additionally, if you actually want to have registration notifications sent out to your coaches, let's say you're running a Starskate program and you want to make sure that the participants' head coaches receive a copy of a little notification that says your skater has registered for Starskate Fridays at 3, you can certainly set those up as well. That will be triggered as soon as this registration invoice has been generated. So all of those details are here and are emailed to the member. So from there, registration within a few clicks of a button, very easy to do. Highly recommend it to help clubs limit the contact with members and limit those really crowded in-person registration events that often happen in the fall. Setting this up in Uplifter will prevent and mitigate all of those issues that might occur and allow you to maintain social distancing and open safely for your clubs. So from there, I'm going to show you every member that actually creates an account within your system has their own personal family account. So I'm here logged into Mary Town's account. From the login screen here, I click on my account, and here are all the details for my account. So here, I can see any of the amounts that are actually outstanding or anything that, any overdue payments I might have. I might be able to update my credit card. Let's say my credit card expired and I actually need to put in a new credit card number. Or let's say I previously said I wanted to pay by check, but now I actually want to pay by credit card. You can certainly do that from your account page. Additionally, you'll have access, each of your members will have access to their family calendar. Their family calendar will show them exactly what classes they have enrolled for and what dates they appear and who should be there. So for example, here's a perfect example of, we have this availability of setting up your online classes through Uplifter. So I know a lot of clubs are actually offering off-ice classes through Zoom or through Google Hangouts or Skype or any of those other options. You can certainly set them up so that it is a online class. When they actually click on the event in their calendar, you can automatically put the link to the meeting that's there. And if there's a password to get into the meeting, you can actually enter it in there as well. This allows you to run these meetings and securely manage those, and only the people who are logged in and have access to those meetings will have access to the password without having to worry about emailing everybody passwords and all the rest. Not only that, but you can also set it up so that Uplifter will actually, when the member is logged in, they'll actually see a little banner notification at the top of the page when the online class is on. Very easy for them to click on it and proceed on to participate in the class. So lots of different ways to help your club enable social distancing and still stay connected and engaged with your members. So as well, you'll have access to each of your participants. Each of your participants will have a separate participant profile. I'll dig into that a little bit deeper on the administrative side. And as well, full invoice history, communication preferences, and if you actually use our volunteering module within Uplifter, if you actually have any volunteering positions that you have scheduled, you can actually view all of those positions here within our volunteering list. So from there, wow, I felt like I just whipped through that really quickly. Garrett, did you keep track of all those things that I said there?
Yeah, no, you did great. I was gonna make a joke about like, oh, you should repeat the whole thing, but no, you did great.
Man, start over from the beginning. Um, so now I'm going to log in as one of our main administrators. So Uplifter has very, very robust permission management. So if you have our Uplifter Bronze, Silver, or Gold tier or Enterprise tier, you'll have the ability to control each individual login to have access to various elements of your Uplifter site. And everybody will use their own email address. So if you have kids at the club, you can still use your own email address to actually log in and be granted access to be able to administer your Uplifter site. So I've logged in as Alan, who is one of our main administrators to the site. Because this site actually has the content management system tools within this tier, I immediately have access to a whole bunch of new tools just directly on the page. So if I'm using this to run my website, I can very easily click on a segment and I can change this to be italicized. And I just click save, and that'll save the elements on the page. So if you are a smaller club and you don't want to be running an entire website separate from your Uplifter site, you just want to do it within one, or even larger clubs, we do have larger clubs doing this as well. You can certainly use Uplifter and all the content management tools to very easily edit your website and manage all the content on your website and make as many pages as you want. As I mentioned here, we've built separate pages for CanSkate registration, Starskate registration, test days and competitions and whatnot. So this really allows you and your club to really customize Uplifter the way that you want and not require everybody to go through a single sort of workflow in terms of their registration. So now I'm going to dive in as Alan, because I am an administrator. I have this new menu item called admin. So I'm going to dive into the admin. And if you actually come on board with Uplifter, this is where you're going to be spending the majority of your time as an administrator. So I'm going to try and quickly walk through a lot of the different elements and tools that you have available for you as an administrator. As soon as you log in, you'll be dropped into your dashboard, and you'll have access to all of these links that at your fingertips that are likely things that you actually need to work with very often within Uplifter. So for those of you who maybe were with Uplifter previously and realize I don't have that menu, it's actually just expanded at the top. So if you if you don't want to see this and you just want to see the calendar of events, you can certainly hide it. So from our quick start dashboard, you'll also see elements like the different classes that are actually happening today. If you actually want to take attendance, you can certainly do so from here. So here I only have one member, but you can certainly take attendance directly from this list. Mention comments about the attendance. I guess I'm going to click OK. As well, you can create an attendance printout and download that from here. So if you want to do it in the more traditional paper, pen, and clipboard, you can certainly download an Excel sheet and have that available so that you can have that ringside. But again, if you're looking at methods to sort of limit the touch points, doing this all on let's say an iPad, if you've got internet available within your rink, certainly doable within Uplifter. Uplifter is fully responsive so that you can very easily view this on an iPad or an iPhone or a mobile device of any sort. As well, you'll see here that this class here is one of our online classes, and a very quick link to the meeting details and the ability to link down to your Zoom meetings so that even your administrators, if they have to actually start the meeting, they can click on this very easily so that they can start the meeting without having to dig through their email and look for that link. From our dashboard, let's dive into some of the different features that we have within Uplifter. So the first menu item here, accounting and invoices. So I'm going to leave this page. So the majority of our administrative pages within Uplifter have a very similar layout. You'll see here a number of filters along the left-hand side that allow you to filter the information that you're looking for. The right-hand side will provide you with the filtered results and a nice overview of the different information that you're looking for. So a good number of the pages within Uplifter on the administrative side are color-coded to very clearly indicate to you various information that might be important, like, for example, whether or not invoices are paid or have outstanding amounts attached to them. On all of these pages, a couple of things that I would like to point out are at the very top, you'll see a couple of different icons. So the very first one here on the very far right is called Learn More About the Features of this Page. If you see this icon on the top right, gives you sort of a quick walkthrough of the different things that you can actually find on this page and the different features that are available. So
Oh,
if you're
sorry, as a side note, you can also use your arrows on the keyboard to go next and back. You don't have to click
I
next all the time because that's kind of annoying to have to go to each window.
didn't know that you could do that. Amazing. So yes, you can use your forward and back arrows to go through this little tutorial of what may be available on this page. If you're new to this page and you want to become acclimatized to the different features that are available. Additionally, what you'll also see in the top icon is this little book icon. This is our learning center. So we build learning center articles on each of the main elements within Uplifter. So if you want more information on this, certainly just click on this. This will take you directly to the invoices article and provide you with all the different details that we actually have on how to manage your invoices, how to edit them, how to create them, even have some previous webinars that are available. So lots of different tutorials and learning elements that you can use within Uplifter. Finally, in general, you have a link to our Learning Center here in the top right-hand corner. And in the bottom right-hand corner, you also have access to our help icon. So from here, if you want to very quickly just search through our help documents, let's say I want to figure out how to find a refund, it will provide you with all of the relevant articles that address the questions that you have. So, and then if you want, you can certainly leave us a message on our support channel. If you can't find the information that you need, certainly just click on this, leave us a message, and we'll respond to you via email through our support channels. So from here, our invoices, you'll see here, this is the actual invoice that I completed a few minutes ago. You'll see all those details. Let's dive down into, I'm going to find, let's look at this email here. or this invoice here. So this invoice, I have Leanne Lebrecht. Oh, wow. I hope I didn't butcher that too badly. Um,
You
uh,
chose that one on purpose, didn't you?
well, the only reason why I did is because I can very easily withdraw this person. I wanted to show
Okay.
people how to withdraw. And then I realized I have to pronounce his name. So, uh, so here, as an administrator, if you need to withdraw people from their classes, certainly click the withdraw button. If you need to make an adjustment, let's say that they came to the first class, but no more, you can certainly add an adjustment and say, I want to give this person a $100 adjustment or refund because they did come to one or two classes, and we want to charge them a minimum of $20 first for coming to those first couple of classes. We're still going to charge them their Skate Canada membership, but let's refund them their family fundraising and their club administrative fees. Once you've adjusted that invoice, you can certainly perform a refund. You can perform the refund if they actually paid by credit card previously. You can certainly perform the refund on credit card, apply it to credit via a gift certificate, or if you're going to provide a check refund payment, you can certainly do that. Within Uplifter, all of the different elements that you may perform as an administrator on the financial side, we timestamp everything that we can. So you'll very easily see that if I were to perform this refund here, and you can add a note, say refunded by check number 3, um, it will actually put any notes that you would like attached to those to the transaction, and as well say who it was that actually completed that. So that will give your club administrators a high level of visibility of who was enacting what on the different elements of an invoice. So lots of different auditing type features available within Uplifter to help you as a club keep track of what happened, where did the money go, who's got the money, who processed these registrations, who's authorized these registrations. So a lot of those details stored within Uplifter, and you can certainly backtrack and find that information retroactively. So let's dive into other features. So here, let's go to our payments. So under accounting and payments, you can very easily see all the different payments that either are upcoming or have been paid. A very great feature that I use, a lot of our administrators use, is being able to filter by overdue payments. So these are all of the individuals and all the different payments that are still owing that did not actually pay on the due dates that were required. You can very quickly send an email to them, notify all of these people that they have an overdue payment, send them our generic overdue payment notification. Additionally, all of our pages also have the ability to export a lot of these reports to a CSV, either generic CSV or an advanced CSV, or as well, if you'd like, you can actually forward all of the people who are in this list and actually create an email and customize an email to those individuals. So really easy to filter out the things that you want, the people that you want to actually contact. Click create new email. I'm just going to show you what that looks like very easily. And this gives you a list of all the people from the previous page that you were looking at, and allow you to basically generate an email and send that out to them. So you can customize that email as you'd like. You have a WYSIWYG editor that allows you to sort of highlight any of the details as required. You can even add a little bit of customization. So let's say you actually want to put in the member's name and say your payment is overdue. So you can certainly do all of those elements within overdue. You can also add attachments to these emails. You can add up to 3 attachments that are no larger than 2 megabytes each. If you want, you can also link items within the WYSIWYG editor as well. So, and within Uplifter, because Uplifter is completely CASA compliant, instead of taking one email and CCing everybody on the list, what Uplifter does in the background is we actually take each of these individuals, we will generate a single email for each of these individuals and send them out one by one. This will lower the chances that these emails will get caught within spam and increase the deliverability of each of these messages to your individual members. And that way also prevent any privacy issues of having everybody on this really large CC list. So Uplifter manages all of that for you in the background, and you don't really have to worry about it. And within our silver and gold packages, no limits in the number of emails that you are allowed to send through the system, and certainly no limit on your mailing list. So even if you have 500, 1,000 members, you can certainly send them all emails through Uplifter. Oops, I forgot. I'll talk about our referred and save in a few minutes. Additionally, you'll be able to take a look at all of your member accounts. Your member accounts are basically your family accounts. Any of the families that are within your club, you can see the status of those accounts. So if any of those accounts are in arrears, you can suspend accounts, inactivate accounts, so that let's say you've got a member who has been not very great about keeping up with their payments, and you want to ensure that they don't register in future. You can certainly suspend an account so that they will be prevented from registering in future. Also, a lot of other features that allow you to prevent people from registering if their account is in arrears. So if they actually have a number of overdue payments that they haven't made, Uplifter will prevent them from registering for future programs until they actually pay off the balance of their account. So within each of those members, you can actually have access to each of those participants that they each have. So let's go over to people and accounts and participants. Here are the participant profiles. As an administrator, you'll see all the same things that your members are able to see. I'm going to go to Richard Smithy. I think he has the most information within the system here. So within each of the participant profiles, you can set up as we have some basic information, first name, last name, gender. Within Uplifter, you can actually customize your genders that you actually offer for selection as a club. So let's say you want to select other, let's say you want to offer trans options or do not disclose. You can certainly customize the different genders that you want to allow your members and participants to select through their checkout process, so that they can actually mention define how it is that they identify in terms of their gender, and you can actually map that to how that's actually going to be sent up to Skate Canada as well. We also, along with birth date and some other fields here, you can also customize the other fields that you actually want to store on an individual participant basis. So here we've added this one field of previous experience, but let's say you want to add fields such as highest junk completed, or different things that you want to track specifically for that participant. Maybe you want to store costume sizes because you do an annual ice show and you want to make sure that everybody's costume sizes are within their profile. You can very easily export that so that you can actually use that for your ice show preparations each year. So within the participant profile, you'll be able to see all of the programs that they've registered for, where they're supposed to be. You'll be able to see their specific calendar. What I'm also going to dive into here is their achievements. So here within Uplifter, you can actually manage all of the achievements that are completed by a member or a skater, as it were. So you can actually see the list of achievements either in a tagged view, and you can actually set up all of these tags the way that you would like. So here we've actually got all of the previous different levels of achievements that we had here, and we've also added the star 1 to 5 as well, and you can very easily see which ones they've completed and which ones they haven't completed, who actually granted that achievement and on what day. You can very easily add additional achievements, or you can also see it in a couple of different views. For example, our completed view, which might be attached to how it is that your learning curriculum is set up within the Uplifter site, and how your club wants to implement the different levels of skating that you have available at your club. So lots of different options here. We also have evaluations, which I'm going to dive into in just a few minutes. So I'll show you that when we get to that. So from here, one of the other things that I did want to outline here with our participant profiles is Uplifter is one of the only club softwares that allow you to attach specific coaches to your participants. So here you can actually attach a head coach, maybe a dance coach, any of the coaches that actually have contact with the skater. And not only that, you can actually set up Uplifter so that you can restrict the permissions of those coaches to only see the skaters that they're attached to, whether they're attached to them here on their instructors list, or perhaps attached to them as being an instructor on the programs that they're teaching. So you might want to do that for your CanSkate programs. I'll walk you through that in a minute as well. So here, if you've actually set up your permissions so that the coaches can only see their skaters, when Patrick Chan were to log into the site, he would only see the skaters that he is attached to here under the instructors listing. So very, very powerful, and allows you to maximize your privacy issues that you might have within Uplifter. So from there, let's go over to products and programs. So under products and programs, here, this is a list of all the programs that you actually have open for registration. I'm going to show you a few different elements here. Let's take a look here at, first of all, let's take a look at our waitlisted programs. So here at a glance, you can very easily see how many positions are still available for any given program. You can see how fast they're filling up, how many people have registered, whether or not people are on the wait list. And you can actually manage all of that. So here, let's click on View Participants. When I view the participants, you'll see a list of the different participants that are that have registered for that program. And you can actually see anybody who's waitlisted. As an administrator, you'll be able to manage that waitlist. Uplifter manages your waitlist in real time and manages those waitlists to ensure that everything is on a first come, first served basis. So if somebody else were to withdraw from your program and you have one spot that's now available on this program, the first person on the list, if you're using our automated waitlist feature, will receive an email that says, your spot's open up, you can now register for this program. You'll have X number of days to register before your spot is relinquished. And if that person doesn't register within that time frame, they'll be dropped off the list and the next one will be able to be added. If you need to sort of fudge that list a little bit, let's say you've got you've got some siblings here, and let's say somebody snuck in between and you want to make sure that those siblings get sort of back-to-back spots, you can very easily update the waitlist time so that those spots get swapped out and the times get changed. So let's say if I move this over to I don't know if that's going to work. Did I get the right date? Yeah, so if I move this to September 1st and I accept that, he should be bumped up to the first on the wait list. So you can easily manage all of those waitlist participants as you need from an administrator standpoint, and as well very easily register them from the wait list and generate an invoice so that they'll be able to actually participate in the class. So let's also dive in from here. Let's take a look at one of our other programs here. So as administrators, you're probably looking at different ways to actually be able to organize your different classes. Let's take a look at this here. Hold on, this is not a waitlisted class. So here's a class here. I just want to show you a lot of our clubs that are using Uplifter are using Uplifter to manage the different groups and manage the skater coach ratio that they have on the ice. So with CanSkate, for example, you can very easily create participant groups. So here I've created my 3 groups, but let's say you're trying to limit your ratios 1 to 2, for example, and you want to move this over. So here, I've created this new group called Purple. I've got these 3 participants in my blue group. I can very easily just drag and drop them and very easily create the different groups that I have that I want to organize my ICE for my CanSkate program. From here, I'll also be able to export my class lists into a CSV or create and export an attendance printout. So very easy for you to create those printouts. These are actually great for especially like summer camp. Maybe you want more strict attendance management for COVID. So this automatically generates a really nice Excel spreadsheet for you with the different groups and the different participants in each of those groups, and check boxes to allow you to actually, if you want to go back to that pen and paper clipboard type option, you can certainly do this in Excel if you don't want to use the built-in attendance tools within Uplifter. So that is our program grouping. Let's take a look here. So other options that you actually have within Uplifter as well are the ability to actually create products and subscriptions, and as well as serialized tickets. So a couple of really awesome features within Uplifter. If you want to create different fees that automatically get added to club invoices, as I showed you through the registration process, you can certainly create them as a subscription that will automatically get added. As well, you can also set up serialized ticket sales. So a lot of our clubs use this for, let's say they want to create a drop-in pass, as opposed to using the drop-in feature that we just released that I showed you earlier. You can certainly create a drop-in pass that allows allows you as a club to create a ticket that when this is purchased, they'll automatically get this customized ticket as a part of their registration invoice. They'll receive a unique 2D barcode that can be used to redeem the number of times that they can actually come and drop in. So I know that drop-in may not be as available to clubs given the different rules for social distancing and gatherings, but this might be a great way to manage a tight-knit group of skaters that you do want to give them a bit of flexibility in terms of their training time. So you can customize this as well as you need, and lots of different features that you can sort of administer on that side as well. So serialized tickets, a lot of clubs are also using that for banquet tickets or for ice show tickets as well. Different ways to actually utilize our serialized ticket feature. Let's take a look here. So next on the list is as a club, you're probably going to need to take attendance. So I'm going to dive back to our dashboard here and show you how to take attendance. I'm going to dive into, I think it's this class. Let's see here. Pretty sure it's this class. Here we are. So here we have our calendar. So when you come in for the day, as mentioned, you'll see any of the events that are available for the day. I want to show you one of our very robust features of evaluation management. So this is actually, we've had some clubs actually reach out to us not only just for, whether or not they can do CanSkate evaluations, which you can absolutely do with an Uplifter, but we've had some clubs actually reach out to us and ask us about different ways to manage a COVID health questionnaire. So here, once you've taken attendance from a particular class, you'll be dropped into our evaluations page. From here, I'm just going to show you very quickly how to do a CanSkate evaluation. You'll see that you can set up your, you can very easily import the Skate Canada CanSkate evaluations. You can see each of these different elements by the different groups from CanSkate 1 through to 6. You'll see your agility through to control different evaluations. If you've got your rinks set up in different circuits, you can very easily work with just a single group of participants. So right now, let's say I'm only working with my blue group. I'm the coach here and I'm working on CanSkate agility. So that means I've only got Amanda and Joe in my group. So that you can very easily limit and filter out your group to just work with the skaters that you need to. Here, very easily add checkboxes to say whether or not they've attempted or completed these attempts on these different skills. And you can see a history here of the different skills that they have attempted and who's marked them off. So that gives you a little bit of reliability and trackability of the different people that have marked the skater to have completed these skills. Additionally, we've had some clubs ask us about doing a COVID health screening questionnaire. So I'm going to give credit to Garrett on this one. This was a great idea on Garrett's side. When asked to do this, clubs said, is there a way to actually have a checklist available? And Garrett said, well, why don't we just use our evaluation tool? So if you're actually administering a verbal health screening questionnaire and you want to track on a day-by-day basis whether or not these skaters have been asked these questions, you can certainly create that as a evaluation within Uplifter so that you can very easily track whether or not each of these skaters have confirmed that they don't exhibit any of these symptoms. You can save this evaluation so that on a day-by-day basis, if you actually need to go back and take a look to see, okay, who came to that class. If you need to do contact tracing, you'll have full visibility of the attendance of the skaters that were there, and as well be able to confirm that they did actually say no on a verbal assessment. So, and not only that, it gives your coaches or any of the administrators who might do this, might administer this questionnaire, a list very easily accessible to them so that they have all the questions available to them, and it can all be stored digitally. So certainly if you want to actually print this out, you certainly can print this out and administer the questionnaire verbally and then transfer this information back into Uplifter. But Uplifter gives you all those tools very easily to do this online. Additionally, if you actually do want to do temperature checks, you can certainly set these values not just to be check marks, but to actually be decimal values. So in this case, let's say you've got a temperature probe and you're actually taking the temperature of kids as they walk in the door, you can certainly do this so that you can actually track, okay, these are the temperatures of the kids as they actually came in for their sessions. So lots of different ways to actually track all this information digitally and very quickly as a club, and have a central place to actually get the reporting on all of that. So that is a quick overview on our attendance and evaluations feature within Uplifter. We have, for all of these features, if you actually want to dive in a little bit further in terms of what you can do with these features, we actually have a number of videos for each of these features. We do a Feature Friday every Friday, where we dive into some of the new features that we have within Uplifter, or take a deeper dive into very specific features that have a little bit more complexity to them. You're welcome to join us every Friday here on Facebook for our Feature Fridays to see the up and coming new features, and as well dive into some of the previous videos that we have on some of these features. So if you have a question about any of these features, we likely have a video that shows you and walks you through how to use them. Last few things that I do want to walk through is reports. So one of the things that really sets Uplifter apart from all the other registration and club management softwares out there is software options out there is the number of reports that we actually have. Within our silver and gold tier, we have well over 35 different reports right out of the box. Everything from attendance to participant reports, membership reports, financial reports, shift tracking if you actually want to have coaches track their time, volunteer reports. So everything here is available. Additionally, Uplifter allows you to create saved reports. So let's say you actually use one of these reports on a regular basis, and you always use the same filters over and over and over again. You can certainly generate those filters the way that you want. And at the bottom of the page, click Save. And that'll save those filters for you so that you come back to them and very easily get to those reports without having to refilter your list each time. So you can save your filters as what's called a default report. So every time you click on the main report, those filters automatically go in. Or you can actually create it and save it so that very specific members can actually have access to the report, which is great if you have members or volunteers that actually help you with Uplifter, but you don't want to give them full access to all the administrative tools. You can actually open up a few reports and just send them a link to the report so that as people register, they'll always see the most updated list. So great ways to sort of leverage that. All of our reports will have different options here. When you generate them, you can either generate them into an Excel, CSV, preview them right on this page here. You can very easily customize which columns you want to see and drag and drop them and rearrange the order of them. Uplifter also allows you to use what we call our relative date filters, which is very unique to Uplifter. So instead of coming here and saying, I want to have everything from June 1st and actually put in a date, you can actually say, you know what, I actually want everything from the first day of, actually this won't work, first day of last month. And it'll automatically, when you come to this page, determine what month you're in and calculate what last month was and find the first day to give you the date from. And then here I've got last day of last month, which will allow you to very quickly make saved reports and get all of that information right at your fingertips here. So finally, the last piece that I did want to talk about very briefly was the different, we're actually going to be launching some new features here under settings and policies. So within Uplifter, you have the ability to generate policies or waivers that people will actually confirm as they go through the checkout process. But one of the things that we're doing here in Uplifter, and we're going to be releasing this before the end of the month here, and I'm just going to show you very quickly on my dev site. So let me just bring this up. So drag this over onto from my other screen. So here is our development site here. I just want to show you some of the new features. So one of the things that we're actually...
Jackie, my apologies. You're actually not displaying that.
I'm not displaying that?
No.
Oh.
When you shared your screen, did you do a specific window? Oh, yeah, there we go.
Oh, I did. Sorry. Thanks for catching that, Garrett.
No
Can you
problem. And
see
now
it
we
now?
can see it. Yep, absolutely.
This is why I have you here, to make
That's
sure
the
that I
only
don't
reason.
make really dumb mistakes.
Just continue talking.
I'd be just talking away and nobody would know. Uh, so here, this is our development environment, and I just want to give you a sneak peek on the new features that we're going to be launching for the end of the month. So this will allow clubs to handle, let's say, a COVID self-assessment or an assumption of risk, and have those policies be tied specifically to the individual participants that are actually registering. A lot of other registration systems will have just a single policy that's available as part of the checkout process. But what we're going to be adding here is the ability for you to actually say that I want that, that policy to apply to a particular participant. So let's say you're registering 2 or 3 or 4 different participants as your registration process. You'll be presented with a separate policy for each of those participants, and that way you as a club will be able to track whether or not those policies have been accepted for each of the different participants that are participating in your programs. This will also be very good for any of those clubs that are in Ontario and need more robust tracking for Rowan's Law. You'll be able to do this, use these features for compliance with Rowan's Law. Not only that, we are going to be introducing some new features that allow you to set what's called an expiry date on policies, which will allow you to, and I'm going to actually just show you on this policy here. So let's say for a self-assessment, let's say you as an organization or you as your facility is requiring you to make sure that everybody has done a self-assessment of a COVID health questionnaire before arriving at the rink at least once a week. So what you can actually say is, I would like to create this policy to expire every 7 days. So regardless of when it is that they actually register, within 7 days, it will prompt them again, because I've set this policy to be completed at creation or login. It'll prompt them again to re-accept this policy and confirm that they have actually completed they've done a self-assessment on their health status before actually coming to the rink. And that way you can actually instruct your members to actually log into Uplifter before they arrive at the rink, actually accept the policies, and you'll be able to pull a report as an administrator to make sure that all of those policies, everybody's policies, are up to date before they actually show up at the rink. We're also adding a couple of additional features here where you're going to be able to ask either the participant or the parent or legal guardian if they are who they say they are. So if the policy is attached to a specific skater, and this is very important for Rowan's Law. This was one of the very key elements that we want to capture for Rowan's Law, is that we want to make sure that if you're asking a skater whether or not they've read the concussion policy, that it is that skater. So if you actually select this to prompt them to acknowledge their identity, it will actually ask them, are you the participant that is registering for this program, and are you the age of 18? And it will ask them to check those elements off before they're allowed to actually accept the policy. So lots of different more robust features to more accurately capture COVID-19 self-assessments, COVID-19 acceptance of risk, and as well any concussion policies that you might want to have expire on a regular basis, to ensure that people are reinforced with that knowledge when they come in on a regular basis, and to make sure that you as a club have all of those waivers and policies signed off on. And as well, we're going to be adding a feature that allows members to type in their name and capture a digital signature based on typing in their name, and having that tracked with each of the policies. One of the key things as well with Uplifter is Uplifter actually tracks the exact wording of the policy at the time that they accept the policy. So if you come back here and let's say the rules have changed, and now your public health jurisdiction has suggested different elements for COVID self-assessment, or let's say your section has provided different protocols for return to play. You can update those details as you need for the policy, and Uplifter will track which version of the policy those members and participants have actually accepted at the time of acceptance. So what Uplifter has done is created a whole set of tools that really allow you as a club to customize whether or not you are in Ontario, BC, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and be able to deliver the return to play protocols that you have within your specific section or within your particular sport, let's say. and customize that so that you can be in compliance and make sure that you have everything that you need to make sure that you can open safely for all of your clubs and all of your members, and provide full visibility across your administrative team and your volunteers that are running your club to make sure that everybody's sort of covered off and everybody knows what it is that they should be doing in terms of implementing those return to play protocols. Um, I feel like I spoke very, 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 very quickly. Was that Garrett? Did you catch all of that? Did you write all of that down? Can you do this, Garrett?
Yeah, I was taking notes. No, you did a wonderful job. And as noted in the chat there, if you guys have been watching the chat as well, we have been recording this session too. So please feel free to rewatch at your leisure. We're going to have it up on our YouTube channel. So even if Jackie did breeze by a few things, you can always rewatch that and catch up on that. And of course, you're more than welcome to reach out to us at our support line as well.
So a couple of last few things that I did want to mention is I did just showcase our Uplifter Gold product. Uplifter does have a number of different tiers that are available. So let's say you are a smaller club. Quite honestly, our Uplifter Gold is priced in a way that will work with your club. We have what we call a pay-as-you-go option that allows you to pay a very low monthly fee and as well just pay a transaction charge. So as your club grows, Uplifter will just charge you for what you use. This has also been great because as clubs had to actually withdraw their members from different programs because of COVID, their fees didn't stay really high. I know there are a lot of registration systems out there that charge a really high monthly fee, and we have a version that allows you to basically pay for what it is that you're using. So that gives you the full gold system for a monthly fee and a transaction charge. But let's say you don't need all these tools. Let's say you're a smaller club and you don't have a lot of members and you want to keep your costs as low as possible. We do have a number of other options. Our light feature, our light program, which is actually we partnered with our payment processor Bambora, and they wanted to offer a very competitive payment option that was competitive with like Stripe or PayPal. So it's like 2.9% and it's 20 cents per transaction, which is cheaper than Stripe or PayPal. They wanted a system that they could sort of double up with that. So they're offering that as their payment option. And we have coupled our light software that actually costs you nothing. And all it costs you is just those credit card fees. And what we've done is we've taken a very slimmed down version of all the features that you saw here, and it allows any club to actually accept online payments very easily, so that you can reduce those touch points and increase and maintain social distancing. But as well, if you have any questions about the different product options that we have within Uplifter, you can certainly come to our Compare Uplifter page. It's at www.uplifterinc.com at Compare Products. As well, we also have lots of information about our pricing, so you can certainly go to our pricing page to see the different prices that we have available to you. So for our Skate Canada clubs, I do want to actually just outline here, we do have a couple of different options for our Skate Canada clubs. We do offer a $4 a month discount for any of our Skate Canada clubs that are using Uplifter. As well, what we also have that I do encourage our clubs to use is if you actually know another club that's using Uplifter, you'll notice here when I was actually on the administrative side, we have a refer and save program. So if you know of another club nearby that's using Uplifter, before you sign up for Uplifter, contact them and say, can you refer me, please? They should just go into their admin site. They can see this top banner right at the top, or here, there's a little link here for refer and save. If they click on this, they should send you an email and you'll get a very specific link to sign up. And what that will do is that will give you actually $10 off of your monthly fees for 6 months. And as well, they'll actually receive a bit of a discount for referring you as a club. So it's a great way to sort of get up and running and save some money to get started with online registration. Additionally, we also don't charge you until you actually come live and start taking live registrations with Uplifter. So if you need, if you're not quite ready to get started because your rink perhaps hasn't opened up yet, certainly feel free to sign up for a free trial, start getting things set up, get familiar with the different tools within Uplifter, and it won't be until you actually go live that you'll actually be charged either the monthly fee or the per transaction charge fees. So lots of different options to take advantage of within Uplifter. Lots of different features. I know that this has been a bit of a whirlwind, but I did want to sort of do an overview and provide you with a brief introduction of all the different things that you can do with Uplifter. Lots of different materials that are available to you. And if you have any questions, as Garrett said, feel free to contact us on the at support@uplifterinc.com. And as well, if you have any questions about the different product options, you can certainly also contact us at info@uplifterinc.com. For now, though, I think that was a lot to sort of capture in a single hour. So, Garrett, was there anything else I missed before we sign off here?
No, ma'am, you've done a wonderful job. We've hit that hour mark, and this is really when most people's brains start to turn off with all the information. So, this is perfect timing. I just want to, for my part, just say thank you to everyone for joining us. Thank you to those who posed questions via chat. That was awesome. It was really great to interact with you guys. If you have any further questions after the video, please feel free to reach out anytime. Rose here and ready to help you out.
Take care, everybody. Stay safe, and let's look at different ways to open safely. And thank you for joining us here on Introduction to Uplifter. Take care.